A while back, I thought I had people figured out. I believed that by observing their habits, their appearance, how they behaved, and their general mannerisms, I could easily put them in a box. A box that labeled them as a certain type of person. But that was a long ago. Now I understand that each person is unique. Everyone has their own story. And with this channel, my goal is to share these stories with you, to show that people are more than just a label, more than a category. Unique people with unique stories, willing to share them. Today, a guest of mine is a young entrepreneur, a lady from Georgia, Elene. Elene, thank you very much for being here on my podcast today. And I appreciate your time a lot. Thank you. Thank you a lot.
Thank you for inviting.
My pleasure. Well, Elena, just to give you a bit of an information about you, I believe you are an entrepreneur, a very young one, who has built up several nice startups, companies, and now she is being here in Germany. Can you shortly introduce yourself to us a bit more than what I did, right?
Yes, of course. So I'm Elene Chitishvili. I come from Georgia, Sakartvelo. I studied Business and Technology University at bachelor's degree in digital marketing. I have 2 startups, as you already mentioned, and now I'm here at Rainer campus.
Perfect. Elena, thank you. That is cool to be here, right? To be in Germany. Well, when I was researching about you a bit more, I have found out that all your life, you've been part of an informal education. Starting from your childhood, you've been trying to get into a non-formal education, informal one, right?
Yes.
Can you tell our listeners a bit about it? Because I'm sure not a lot of people have been doing that or know about it. What is that non-formal education and what projects have you been involved in?
Yes. So from the young age, one of my role models were my sister, because she was from the young age as me involved in non-formal education and the projects such as volunteering, making such projects for teachers, students, for school, for universities and stuff. And when I was seeing her, how successful she was, how everyone was proud of her, I wanted to be like her. That's why I started from young age in school years to be part of such projects. One of my first was when I was in World Vision's organization as one of my team leaders, as I will say. For several years, I have been in school with my team and making and various of projects about bullying, about so much problems that we have with teachers, relationships and stuff. And we wanted to make a little difference when we will be out of the school. So as we made it, and I'm really proud of that.
That's so cool, actually, to be involved in such an activities from a very young age, right?
Yes.
Oh, wow, that's amazing. And having a role model as a sister, that makes it a bit better. It makes a huge difference because then you have somebody you can ask for advice at the same time, right?
Always.
Good. And now you're doing your bachelor at Business and Technology University in Georgia, right?
Yes.
Perfect. You told me, you walked in. We had a small chat. You told me you walked in and you realized at some point that you belonged there. What was that moment of realization? Like, what made you understand that this was your thing?
So at first, when I came to university, as a bunch of us, I think, was a big of new thing. I didn't know what to do, how to start everything, but as time passed, I knew that it was my thing to do, like digital marketing, the whole career which I built upon myself. It was really like what makes me happy and what was like the pleasure of mine. So it was really like the realization that I'm proud where I am and I found my place there. So yeah.
That's amazing. And tell us a bit more about the university. So you study digital marketing, right? And what do you do as a digital marketer at your university, right? What is the idea behind it?
So in general, as all universities, they are giving us some theoretical knowledge at first. I'm in my second year, not second, third year.
Third year.
Yes, already. And for now, we have such a subject as like digital marketing, social media campaigns, and so stuff like that. And yeah, we're trying to get all the knowledge from books for now. And at fourth year, I hope we will have some practical knowledge as well from the university.
Cool,
Yes.
cool. And I know you already played a bit with social marketing, right? When
Mm-hmm.
you were developing your product,
Yes.
Wave, right? Tell us a
Yes.
bit more about Wave. What is it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because Wave for me is just as connected to the seaside. Is it something where you jump and swim? Are you producing some, I don't know,
Mm-hmm.
help jackets for people who are
Mm-hmm.
drowning, or what is it?
I will tell. So at first, I have a friend group from really young age, from kindergarten. We were coming together. We were always planning some trips and everything together. And at some point, we were thinking that we didn't have anything to talk about. Like we know everything each other. We know each other so well that like we're sitting and just gossiping about something. And at some point, it's getting bored. So I played the role in my friend group where I was searching for some interesting questions which you will not think on a daily basis, and it was really hard work to do actually, because like from hundreds of questions, 4 or 5 questions were really worth to ask. And at some point, when I realized that it was not only my problem, I was thinking like, why not to make a card game such as Wave. So
Aha.
yes, Wave is a card game brand which is producing it. For now, we have 2 products. One is the couple edition, and one is for in general for friends, for family, for yourself even, whoever wants to play and whoever wants to get to know each other better. And why Wave? Because Wave is the, I don't know, thing which will get you deep in ocean or in the sea.
Aha.
And we have the levels at like the Wave card game. All card games has levels, like where you're getting deeper and deeper, and the questions as levels are getting more deeper. Yeah. So yeah, that's
That,
why it's called Wave.
okay, so that's the idea behind. So to
Yes.
get you deep into the game, where you ask a bit more deep
Deep
questions,
points.
and then you understand the person a bit better, right?
Yes.
Wow, that's a very nice idea behind the name. Actually, I never thought about that in that sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. And so you have 2 editions, right?
Yes. For now,
That's
yes.
perfect. Maybe I should try at least one of them in my
Of
life, right?
course, yes,
Good. You
pleasure.
also told me that at first when you were with the group
Mm-hmm.
now, it was difficult to find those interesting questions.
Yeah.
Do you remember at least 1 or 2 questions that Wave can ask you, or
Mm-hmm.
something that you've been researching on? So,
Mm-hmm.
so, so the listeners understand what is the idea of a wave. So, what would be
A
the question
question.
that they might need to answer?
Uh-huh. Like for example, we're not talking about our hard times with our friends on our
Okay.
daily basis. Like we need some kind of I don't know, some kind of wave for that, so that we can get deeper and deeper in the conversation. And that was what's happening with my friends. Like we were not talking about some really meaningful things, because we were thinking that, oh, we know everything about each other and there is nothing new for us. But the interesting thing is that when I was testing my product with my family members and even with my mom, she was like really was surprised with the result, because even if you're living with the person like with your mom and you're the whole life, she and we should know everything about each other. Questions sometimes are getting so surprised results, because even like with your mom you can get something new from her that you never
Wow.
talked about. So yeah.
Interesting. Do you have one question like that to me, for example?
um
Something you can know that could be an idea.
mm-hmm. For example, like at the um like at the easiest level, maybe, yeah.
Let's make
Just
my life easier,
yes,
okay?
like
Fair.
maybe we can talk about what is the simple thing that makes you happy.
Oh, right. So the question you would draw a card and be like, what is one
Yes.
thing that makes you happy daily?
Yes,
Wow,
like
okay. And
simple
what would be
things.
the hard question, right?
Oh, about traumas, maybe about
Traumas.
your childhood, something that you never
Okay.
talked about.
So something like from a childhood gestalt that you haven't really closed so far, right? Or
Yes.
something that you were afraid of, right? In your
Yes.
deep down. Wow. That sounds interesting, actually. That sounds very cool. Now, as we mentioned, you connecting to Wave to the social media marketing that
Uh-huh.
you're studying at the university. I know you
Yeah.
played a little bit with social media, right?
Yes.
You've mentioned that you posted a video on TikTok, right?
Mm-hmm.
How did that happen? So what was the idea of the? Look, my generation hasn't been using TikTok much.
Mhm.
We're still stuck at YouTube Shorts,
Yes,
right?
I know.
So,
As a marketer, I know
yeah,
already your generation.
life as it is, right? Yeah, but so how did that happen? Did you just,
Mhm.
you were uploading a content on TikTok and you
Yeah.
thought, why not?
Mhm.
Why not try it with Wave? Or
Mhm.
you had this already in your head of maybe
Yeah.
that could boost? Did it boost? Like, did it
Mhm.
become popular from
Yeah.
TikTok?
So at first, when I started to create a wave, I had some design skills. I knew that I had some marketing skills already, and I was like, okay, as it will be one of my first startups, a small business. Also, it will be like a project for me for my portfolio in future. And I was so excited because I would have something that is like results,
Presentable.
yes. And I started to making some content, and one of the platforms that I chose was TikTok. And when I uploaded a video there, it was extremely crazy to say what happened then, because customers started to act really like aggressively, not in a bad way, but they were demanding that they wanted the wave and they wanted the product. But I was not ready for that because I was thinking that I had some kind of time when then I will go to the mass production and stuff. But at the first week, I think it was so crazy that I did not expected such reaction from them. And in general, as a portfolio, it was not so resulted because I had to do in mass production, but I couldn't get any promotions or any ads for the wave because I knew that I was not ready for much of the demand that customers needed. So it is quite popular for now even. But after some time, in my life, some challenges appeared where I needed to change my priorities. That's why they a little bit take a back seat in my priorities list. But for now, we're still working on new card game, and we're trying to get into international market because even the people who didn't know Georgian, because Wave is card game in Georgian, they wanted to have it in English. And when I saw that it was like really important for them and they really wanted to have such a game in English too, I said like, why not? So we're now really developing, and I hope that it will gain such popularity as it was at the first.
Cool. So you mentioned two things that I want to accentize here, that I want to put a bit more importance to.
Yeah.
First thing was Wave being part of a Georgian market, and then second one was some of the difficulties that made you shift your priorities a bit. Let's start with the first one. Do you mind?
Yeah, of course.
Cool. So you were saying that the Wave is now present only on the market of Georgia, right?
Yes.
And it became very popular in Georgia. Why do you think it became so popular in Georgia, right? Is it because of the culture of Georgian people, or is it something that could be connected to, I don't know, some correct timing? So what was the driver that made it popular in Georgia? And I've also heard now you're trying to make it international.
Yeah.
Good luck with that. That's
Thank
an
you so
amazing,
much.
amazing incentive. So, but what made it popular in Georgia, and how do you think what can make it popular internationally?
Yeah. Because one of the reasons that I took the risk and with my money, with my all the time and all the energy, I started to make a wave because I saw that there was nothing similar on the market or on Georgian market for sure. And I said, like, why not? We need some kind of games, not like dirty ones, which are only for drinking and stuff, but also for something meaningful, something that people can build relationships upon that. So that was one of the reasons which is why Wave is so popular, because for now on Georgian market started to appear such projects also, which is not a big problem for us, but it was really, I don't know, special for everyone because it was new. It was something that they were needing. And yeah, that's the reason why Wave became this big of a wave as it is for now.
So it was an idea of satisfying these basic human needs
Yes.
such as communication.
Mhm.
And you found a small gap where communication was non-productive to a degree, and you wanted to make it to the level where people communicate productively, right?
Yes.
Where they build up their relationships based on a helping card, just like a magic card that the magicians use, right? Something that were
Magic
just
stick.
grab, exactly, something they
Yeah.
grab from their hand, and you see it, and you go, wow, that's so magical, right?
Mhm.
So that's very cool. I like that. That actually sounds very interesting.
Mhm.
Now, you said there were some challenges, right, that made you
Yes.
shift priorities.
Mhm.
Um, for me, as back in the day businessman, right, I had to sacrifice a lot of things to
Mhm.
get my business running.
Mhm.
Apparently, you chose
Yeah.
a different path,
Yes.
right? You sacrificed a bit of a business,
Yeah.
right? Can we talk a bit about those challenges, not mentioning them in a particular way connected
Mhm.
to a person or something like
Yeah.
that, but can you describe
Mhm.
what could be the challenges
Mhm.
that can make people shift their priorities from business, from making money,
Mhm.
to accentize something else, like
Yeah.
to prioritize something else?
Mhm. So Wave, actually, like it is still one of my favorite projects, to mention that, but it was not something that I was depending on. Like, it was not my life or death decision to make it. It was just for not only for fun, but for interest, for portfolio, for everything I mentioned. But at life, at some point, maybe there are challenges which is not only on you, but also on your how to say, persons who are really dear for you and who are really like priority for you. That's why when you're seeing that your energy can be much more useful at some other for some other person or for some other, I don't know, problem, yeah, then you're making such choice. That's why it happens for me as well.
Cool. That is interesting, because for me it was a bit different. So
Mhm.
I am, unfortunately, now thinking of it now, I sacrificed a lot to build a very successful business that I've been running,
Mhm.
and then I realized that the people needing me
Yeah.
were really needing me, but I was not there for them. So
Yeah.
kudos, and very good job on understanding when people need you more than your business. That is a very,
Yes.
very strong, I would say, a strong feature of in a person. That's a
Mhm.
very strong thing.
Thank
Cool.
you.
Now we've been talking about Wave and challenges a
Mhm.
bit, and then I also know you have a different product you're working on right now, right?
Yes.
And it's something connected to a very well-known thing called AI.
Yes.
Yeah, can you tell us a bit more about it?
So, for sure, like at the moment when I chose to focus on my studies and on the challenges that I had in life, I also got somehow involved in AI and in startup environment in general. But before that, everything started when I had a friend and a bunch of like known people who were deaf and mute. And I knew their life challenges because, as simply as it may seem, like they were struggling to buy a bread by themselves because nobody knew sign language, and it was such a problem for them to communicate or to approach to someone. And when I saw that, I'm kind of emotional person, to be honest, and I was really like emphasize with them like what should we do, how to help them, and so on and so on. And me and my one of my closest friends were always like discussing that this problem is so real and they can nothing to do about that. But in that times, AI started to evolve with me and in my life in general. And when I saw that the power of AI was much more bigger than we're using it right now, I saw the solution there. And that's how we created Speak, the startup which I'm still developing and which is still an ongoing developing process. And yeah, that's the startup which is the second for me and which is really, really necessary and important, not only for me, but I think for millions of people who are with the problems of sign language translating and stuff.
Cool. So you have Wave and Speak. I
Yeah.
like the way you name things. It's very cool, actually, very creative, right?
Yeah.
And you said you got into
AI, understanding the AI, and at the
Mhm.
same time you got to understand the startup environment, right? You
Yeah.
became a part of a startup environment.
Yes.
Is that something popular where you come from,
Mhm.
or is it something that you really need to dig in and like try to find those
Mhm.
people who work with startups, right?
Yeah.
Because I don't know, getting involved in startups for me at some point feels very difficult to do.
Yeah. In Georgia, I would say the startup environment, it's on the not the beginner level, but we are still starting. Like we're on the start point where we're still developing, still get to know these words, what AI means, what startup means, what acceleration program means, and everything in general. That's really new for our market, I would say, in Georgia. But it's really gains popular really easily. What I'm happy about, because that seems that we're ready to go into deep with a startup environment in general, which will lead us to amazing projects as it is for now even. And yeah, I started to get involved in such hackathons, acceleration programs. Even my university, when they saw that we had some idea, and which was really great and dear, really important for everyone, they started to involve with us also. So they helped a lot to get involved in such projects. But on our side, we were always trying to be everywhere as we could, because yeah, for sure, you know that networking is such an important thing for startup environment and for digital marketing as well, because we need people, we need them to know us, and we need them to know who we are and so on. And that's how we saw the opportunity. We saw that we needed that stuff, and that's how we started to get involved really actively in startup environment in Georgia.
Wow, that is cool. So
Mhm.
maybe at some point I need to try the startup environments in Georgia as
For
well.
sure.
Maybe, I mean, why not? And now you're in Germany, right? You're an
Yes.
exchange student here, if I understood it well,
Mm-hmm.
right? And how do you enjoy Germany? How has your experience been so far here?
Mm-hmm. So it was only 1 month
Yeah.
here for me, but it's really amazing because I like the different type of lifestyle here we have. Because in Georgia, it was always so active and always so like a little messy, I would say. Because like for me, in a certain point of my life, it was really hard to focus on everything. I have my startups, I have my studies, I have people who I should care about, and so on and so on. And that's why I at some points saw that I had a time to gain a little international experience in my life, and I chose Germany because I have a big plans also here, as we already discussed. So yes, I really like what I see here. I really like the lifestyle, the quietness, the peacefulness, and at the same time, really active academic projects and like startup funds, even everything. It's really nice, and I'm really happy to get more experience in that with
Oh.
Germany and with German people and with this all international thing.
You are definitely in the right environment then, right? It's the academia here usually drives a lot of innovation
Yes,
projects,
I see.
and it's possible to really learn something from here, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
One more last question for the audience,
Mm-hmm.
I would say would be, what is one thing you will wholeheartedly
Mm-hmm.
advise to a young entrepreneurs like you,
Mm-hmm.
somebody who hasn't really started with one
Yeah.
company, not two, or somebody who started and failed,
Mm-hmm.
somebody who plans to start?
Mm-hmm.
What is one honest advice you would give to them,
Mm-hmm.
so they know what can they do in life, right? So what is one particular advice?
That's a great question, though, and one that you should think about. But I would say um, I had a lot of questions about my regrets in life.
Okay.
And I would always say that I have no any regrets, because every fail, every lesson that we learn, everything leads to us today as I am here, and I'm in this position as I am here right now. And I would say like there is not such a thing as fail or something. Everything is just a lesson that we should learn. So that's, and even for our age, and no matter at what age, I think the risk is always there. And risk, if we don't take a risk, we don't drink champagne. So I think we should just think that everything is a lesson. We should take that as a lesson and not to just think about that. And we should learn from everything and just take a risk. And in life, at some point, you will see that everything needed to be in that way, so that we will see little rainbow after the rain.
I see 3 very good advices there, not one actually. It's about taking risks,
Yes.
looking at those risks as the learning curve,
Mm-hmm.
and just be sticking and then not regretting those risks taken, right?
Yes.
Wow, very, very, very thoughtful idea, really.
Mm-hmm.
I would like you to, yeah, for now, our show is over, I believe. Our podcast for today is done.
Yes.
I would like to thank you for being part of my podcast.
Mm-hmm.
I wish you all the best in developing Speak and Wave and the other projects you'll be working on.
Yes.
Yes, I will be posting a link to Wave where you can buy Wave under the description as well.
Yes.
So some people who might have interest can reach out to you or your team and get themselves a magic card game.
Yes.
Thanks once again, and I hope you enjoyed the podcast.
Thank you so much for inviting. It was a pleasure of mine.
Thank you.